I can't understand, like, kids are literally stinky and annoying. Why would you want to have sex with someone so stinky and annoying?
Did you ask your wife?
I was going to say, you're not necessarily the most charming or well-scented man yourself.
And Jimmy Seville still didn't want to fuck me.
Dude, I've been, did I tell you about DJX? Mm-mm. So Spotify has this new thing called DJX where basically it looks at all of your music history and then it'll just suggest music based on AI.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they have a voice for DJX and he'll like tell you why he's going to turn on a song.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
But I'll do it while I'm driving Uber and he'll just like tattle on me. He'll be like, okay, Jimmy, I got something that you've been really into as of late. And then they'll turn on the saddest fucking song you've ever heard in your life. And these people look at me, they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm okay.
I love the idea where it's like regional specific. So like your address is still New Jersey.
Yeah.
So it's like, Jimmy, I was looking through, I saw a kid. Hey, I saw that you were listening to this specific Adele song 42 times last month. So not for nothing, here's a playlist I made called Crying in the Shower.
Yeah, exactly.
Spotify doesn't really understand the type of screamo I like, so that guy, the same DJ X guy will be like, hey JT, seems like you really want to get your blood pumping. Anyways, here's I Hate Myself, book 3. It's like, this is not blood pumping music, baby.
You seem like a cool guy. Here's Tiger's Jaw. Oh, fuck, I'm a pussy.
Here's that Red Wine Supernova song you listened to a dozen times while you mowed the lawn.
Red Wine Supernova.
Have you heard that?
No.
Yeah, of course. That's Oasis, right?
What's her name? Chappelle Roan, or is it Chapel Roan?
Yeah,
No,
Chapel
I don't
Roan.
I love her. Oh my gosh, I love it. She's like Taylor Swift if Taylor Swift was a slut.
Yeah,
She's so
dude,
good.
she is.
When I first heard her, I asked my wife, I was like, because she was like, the lyrics were like, oh, you're knee deep in my passenger seat, eating me out. And I was like, babe, is this Taylor Swift? I was like, this is the dirtiest Taylor Swift song. I was like, she's speaking nasty for the first time. And she was like, no, this isn't Taylor Swift. Someone just fucking like her.
She sounds just like Taylor Swift.
If Taylor Swift was like a horny dance girl from LA,
Yeah.
she'd be Chapel Roan. Love it. I listened to that Red Wine Supernova. Listen to it on the way here. Oh my God,
Dude,
it's so good.
have you seen how she performed at the Tiny Desk concert?
Uh-uh.
She's got like this full face of makeup, kind of like in the Victorian like French era. You know what I mean? And she's just like saying the dirtiest fucking things. And yeah, she's fun, but she gets wild.
Can't wait. I can't wait for her to come next year for South by Southwest and play the Dorito stage at Stubbs. And I'm front and center. And I'm also dressed like a Victorian clown, like a jester for her. And I dance like a fool while she sings Supernova, however it goes. I don't know. Red Wine Supernova. I have no idea how the song goes. It's a good ass song. Listen to it today.
I do like the idea of the Red Wine Supernova being the drunk, sluttier Champagne Supernova. Champagne Supernova is like about like, I don't even know what the fuck the song's about.
Never even heard it before.
It's Oasis. You've heard the song. Is Champagne Supernova in the Sky? All right.
How does it go? Sing it.
Champagne supernova in the sky.
It's about being like whiny and British, whereas
That's everything British.
Red Wine Supernova is about like, you know, getting your teeth stained red in an Applebee's and causing a scene. I don't know.
Have
a
you
lifestyle.
heard the song, Sam?
No.
Okay, I feel like we should show you her.
Go ahead.
You haven't heard Red Wine Supernova?
No.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? I may have. I just don't know it.
It is beautiful.
I'm really bad with music.
Do you
But
remember
she's also like gay music. I'm shocked that JT even heard of this song.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, JT liking gay stuff way out of left field there. Yeah, big old hetero daddy JT usually just listens to alpha male pop. I usually just listen to The Art of War with Wu-Tang beats behind it, but just this once I said, you know what? Chapel Roan.
Yeah, I really just listen to Cream by Wu-Tang over and over. That's all I listen to. Dude, I'm all about the money, bro.
I listen to anything I can shadow box to. Can't believe you haven't heard this song. It is...
Old cauliflower ear, JT.
Man, I used to work with this disabled guy back when I worked with developmentally disabled adults, and it was this Down syndrome guy from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And he'd always say, I'm the Italian, baby. I'm the Italian. It was hilarious. It always make me laugh out loud. He'd go, you know me, I'm the Italian. His job was to wash windows at a car dealership, and he'd do a really bad job, but they wouldn't fire him because he had Down syndrome. And he'd always say, come visit me at work. I'll get you coffee. Dude ruled.
I love this.
I just volunteered at a charity here in Austin that it's called Art for the Streets. Have you heard of this?
I think you were telling me about it.
Yeah, it's for homeless people.
Uh-huh.
And there was this one dude there that was so fucking funny. He just kept talking about George Bush and how all the evil shit that he did.
Nice.
Like every one of his paintings was
It's not
about
nice
it.
to talk about me that way.
We got to get this guy on the pod.
Damn, dude. That therapist is hot as hell.
They all are hot on Better
What?
Health. They're all hot on
Sam
BetterHelp.
seen any woman that talks to him about his feelings.
That's
Tell
not
him,
true.
This therapist is hot as hell.
I just like hoop earrings. Sue me.
I had a therapist at BetterHelp, and he was fucking shredded, dude. He was so hot.
Dude, I had a therapist, and she told me she loved me.
What?
Is that normal? She would tell me she loved me, but then I didn't go to therapy one time, and I said we should do it next week, and then she ghosted me. We
And
never
she started
talked
screaming,
again.
I hate you, I hate you, I
Isn't that
hate you.
weird? Yeah, she said,
I hate you.
I said, interesting that you love me, and now you don't text me, Tiffany.
Damn, this woman's a lot.
Let you bang on your couch. I thought you thought of me better.
Oh, I've heard that song.
You thought of me better.
I've heard this before.
Yeah, but the fucking makeup's wild.
Did you think this was Taylor Swift, this song?
Yeah, I did.
No.
Yeah, I did too.
The way she sounds.
My friends call me a loser, 'cause I'm still hanging around. I've heard so many
Is this the Red Wine song?
No,
this one's
it's a
just
good
singing
one.
about getting her pussy
Bang
licked.
on your couch. I thought you thought of me better.
Knee deep in your passenger seat.
Oh, do you want to hear the chorus?
I want to hear all of it. I love this song. We should probably get to work, but damn, this is a good ass song. But yeah, I think fucking all British people are disgusting and perverts.
All of them?
Yeah, I don't try. Anytime I meet a British person, obviously your wife's from Australia. She's
Yeah, she's
different.
Aussie.
She
not
gets
British.
the pass. She's
Yeah. Australia, they kicked out all the cool people and sent them to Australia.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it got started in the first place.
To the criminals?
yeah.
Like I said, the cool people.
The ones that rape adults, not children. The children ones stayed in Britain.
Yeah. They got a whole little island to fill.
Said yes. In the 1950s.
1950s, a national questionnaire explained exactly what a paedophile was. Each man in Britain was asked if he thought he was one. 92% said yes.
92. Yeah, that's British people. That's all British people.
92 said yes.
92 said 8% considered liars in this country. Those fucking dogs,
fucking
dude.
Prince Andrew ass.
Yeah, for real. They're kings and queens over there. Are also the kings and queens of pedophile rings. It's wild. And what's the age of consent in England again?
I don't know what.
That was a test. Just making sure. That was a test, Sam. Good fucking.
I think it's 17. Well, they use the metric system, so I think it's 17 stones or whatever it is. Oh, your girlfriend don't even look 14 and a half measuring things. They don't, because they use like nautical knots or
Yeah.
some shit.
She's
Oi.
about 3 lengths of rope for me.
Yeah, your girlfriend's a bit of a meter, huh? I don't even know what that is.
Man, everything they say makes me mad. That's the other thing is they don't have guns there, and so they have a really bad knife kind problem. Almost like it's not the weapons, but instead the conditions that we have to live in. And so they have these problems where they're like, oh yeah, they had these 4 guys with blades, and I'm like, dude, I would rather get stabbed than be fucking robbed by a British dude with a knife. I would never be able to look at myself in the
You mean
mirror
shot?
again.
You'd rather be shot than stabbed by a Brit?
No, I would rather be if a British roadman came up to me and he was like, "Oi, mate, let's see the empty pockets." I'd be like, "Dude, I fucking will 1776 your ass. How dare you? How dare you threaten me with a knife? I'm from Texas."
Ayo, Beardy.
Yeah,
Let's go see what's in them pockets,
I
huh?
would have no fear in my heart. I could be. People are like, "Oh, it's different there in London. It's scary." I'm like, "Yeah, dude. In London, it's scary. Where's your gun violence? Where's your? And here, you don't even have to be a bad bad neighborhood to face gun violence. You can go to school, a church, a hospital,
A mall.
a mall. Yeah. Oh, you went to 8th grade today? That's more dangerous than anyone in London has to do ever. I will never fear those cowards ever.
You think that you're safe. You're like, Amazon has destroyed all the shopping malls. No one goes to those anymore. And then you get there, and technically it takes 4 people to die considering a mass shooting, and you're like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck!
You never want to be the qualifier.
Never
You
wanna
see
be
the
the
third guy hit the ground, you better run to that parking
If
lot.
I'm in a room with more than 2 people, I leave.
There was this event in Australia recently where they had a stabbing in a mall, and it was stopped just by a guy from France that picked up one of those stanchions that you like put the lines in between to make lines and just threw it at that fucker. And it's like, yeah, like 7 people got stabbed. All they needed was one dude just to throw something at them.
A blunt object.
A blunt object. All you need was one dude just go, oh, I'll just throw something at the guy with the knife. That easy.
They needed a good guy with a knife.
The only thing that stops a bad incel with a knife is a good incel with a knife.
A Volcel. A pure of heart. One that studied the blade.
The Volcel studying the blade out protecting our malls.
Oh, yeah, boy,
They're getting on their little security scooters, their standing security scooters, and just rolling around. Being like, I'm like the Batman of this mall.
Do you think there are more incels in the U.S. or in the U.K.?
UK.
Why is that?
Their
Why do you
men
think
are
that?
grosser and disgusting.
They are gross. Old British men should be put down. They're filthy.
Do you remember that guy Jimmy
They're
Savile?
like slugs. That's what they look like. They're all
Oh my
bald.
God.
They're all like wrinkly and they're all pale. It's what I'm gonna look like when I'm older.
You guys know Jimmy Savile, their like most famous guy ever. That was just like a massive pedophile and in charge of a pedophile
When I
ring
think
in
of famous
England.
British people, I think like the Beatles.
Oh, they're
Who's
disgusting
Jimmy
too,
Savile?
dude. Jimmy Savile.
You said Jimmy Savile, you know, the most famous
He
British
was
guy
in England,
of all time.
dude. This guy was like King of King, Lord of Lords. This guy was everything. This Lord Farquaad ass,
I mean,
little
he
berries
does-
and cream motherfucker ran England for like 60, 70 years.
I mean, he doesn't look great.
No.
You know,
He was also knighted. Sir James William Vincent Savile.
He was a DJ.
He was he was a presenter on TV. So like he would win award shows, he would do runs, he had a TV show, he had books, he would do live events. He was like their Ryan Seacrest. Like Ryan Seacrest in the early 2000s was like stood on the shoulders of men like Jimmy Savile. That was just like, I host everything, I got a TV show, I got a Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey is
Yes.
a better comparison. He is British Steve Harvey if Steve Harvey thirsted for children.
Hello, my name is Stephen Harvey. I'm here to present Best Knife Attack.
Another thing
Of
about
East
USA,
Sussex.
our Steve Harvey, our heroes, they don't want to hunt children. They just want to tell women how to act. That's it.
Who?
Okay?
Steve
Harvey. Steve,
Yeah, Stephen Harvey, the British guy, who was like, act like a man, think like a child.
my wife, her dad got her that book in high school. I heard that and I was like, oh, that makes sense, babe. That's crazy.
What he's referencing is Steve Harvey of America, not Stephen Harvey of England, wrote a book called Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man. It was all about like you need to like dress, you need to wear a dress, but you need to like want to suck dick. It's like the point of the whole book.
When I was working at Juiceland, this guy came in and I was talking to him. He's like, I'm in town for work. And I was like, what do you do? He's like, honestly, I work for Steve Harvey. And I was like, dang, dude. I was like, he's got to have a team of people. He's the busiest man in TV. And he thought that was really funny. And I started listing off all the stuff he does. And he was dying. He goes, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm a comedian, baby. And he's like, really? And I was like, this was like 7 years ago. I was like, yeah, I'm a comedian. And he goes, send me an email with your act. If it's good, I'd love to set you up with something in LA. And I was like, Steve Harvey's friend, absolutely. And so I did, and he didn't email me back. In a couple weeks, I followed up with it, and he goes, not a great fit for what I do, thank you. And I was like, Steve Harvey's camp isn't interested in my work. But yeah, Jimmy Savile, king pedophile, pervert, most beloved man in England. People still defend him to this day, even though dozens of women have come forward about what he did to them as children, and talks about procuring children for royals, talks about procuring children for celebrities. Sicko, pervert, will burn in hell forever. But that kind of leads us into what this episode is about.
He's part of the 92%. That was mentioned in that Instagram video. Yeah. I am part of the 92%.
He's a proud 92%er. Jimmy Savile's a real proud 92%er here.
See,
But-
now, here's my question. If
Go
you're
ahead.
gonna fuck kids, why would you look like you're gonna fuck kids so much?
I
Like, lay low.
I can't understand. Like, kids are literally stinky and annoying. Why would you want to have sex with someone so stinky and annoying? I mean, I like kids to an
Did you ask
extent.
your wife?
You motherfucker, I was gonna say you're not necessarily the most charming or well-scented man yourself.
And Jimmy Seville still didn't want to fuck me.
This guy looks like a Monty Python character of a pedophile.
Yeah, I like to go bouncing on them, going one.
And on the TV shows that he was on in the 70s or 80s, he's like forcibly kissing children and grabbing their butts and like being an open pedophile. And British people are like, that's just what we do. That's just who we are.
There are sometimes you see old people and you're like, God didn't want this.
Yeah, you go, oh, this is just a part of your culture, isn't it?
Like, he looks like a character you should just put down.
Yeah.
He's what, like, okay, so like all of the homophobes that thought like Elton John was like a pedophile because he's gay, like they were mistaking him. This is actually like what the pedophile looks like. Elton John wears the same glasses, but he's like into adults, you know, and then these are the same gender, and this dude's like what they were like trying to
Imagine
attack.
that time where like not just like right wing sickos are calling homosexuals pedophiles, but like it's in the general zeitgeist in the 70s and 80s that like pedophiles or something wrong with them, and then like a straight dude on TV is an actual pedophile, and you're like, fuck, dude, being gay sucks. I'm just a gay guy trying to live my life, and this actual pedophile's on TV, and I'm the one being called the pervert.
I'm trying to just not get AIDS and have a good time. Now
dude.
I'm also a pedophile? What the fuck?
Insane. That the episode that we're doing today is, by the way, welcome to Bad News Podcast.
Welcome to the Bad News Podcast.
We got Sam Castillo.
Hello. We got JT Kelley.
And also,
What's up, Jimmy?
what's up, Jimmy?
What's up, Jimmy?
We're talking about the Snooker World Champions. I showed Sam the video earlier. Do you want to pull up the first YouTube that we have here? This is the incident that's going viral on TikTok for a lot of different reasons, but just run tape. It's wild.
An incredibly upsetting video of a man snacking a little fellow's ear live on TV is being examined by police after individuals raised concerns on the web. The pair were seen behind the scenes during inclusion of the World Snooker titles in Sheffield. In the video, which the Mirror has decided not to share, Stephen Hendry is shot, examining a continuous match throughout a break in play, as the pair should be visible over his left shoulder.
You see him realize
In a
he's on
scene
TV.
which gave individuals
smile.
the downers,
Shakes it back
the
and
man is
forth.
seen approaching over the kid's face, where he is, by all accounts, saying something, before tenderly snacking on his ear cartilage. The kid appeared undaunted by the bizarre move, and when they understood the camera was on them, the two of them grinned and began waving.
So that's the whole
The
video.
abnormal experience
That's like the
was
gist of
shared
it.
generally on the web, with South
Then
York.
here's the thing. That could just be his dad or uncle, right? If it's his uncle, put him in prison. But it's probably
Even if
fucking
it's
not.
dad put him in prison.
Even if it's
biting
dad.
a kid's ear. It's
I
fucking
wrong.
weird.
I agree. First of all, he used the word snacking.
Yeah, the way that the British people described it, he described the fleshy cartilage of that kid's ear. I'm like, okay, that's a 92%er if you ask me.
Yeah, right. He's getting himself worked up. He's like, he's like, yeah, no, but for real, that is not chill. Even if it is your dad.
Even
for real.
if your dad's kissing your ears, call a hotline.
I
Call
mean,
a freaking hotline.
your father should be disappointed in you. He shouldn't be snacking on you.
Yeah, your dad needs to just tell you. If your dad's talking to you, he should be explaining things that you've already done wrong in your life to get back on a better track. Not licking up on your little ear holes. All right, that's a
Yeah.
bad dad.
He should be telling you, God, you're 9 years old. You should already fucking be in NASA by now.
Why don't you work?
Yeah,
That came up on my
yeah,
TikTok.
Get a job.
That came up on my TikTok. That video where it's like, did you guys see what happened to the Snooker World Championships? Do you know?
Which, by the way, shout out to your fucked up algorithm.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely. It knows I'm a snookhead. I'm a snookhead because last year around this time, this Substack that I follow, this guy that's an online researcher, posted about the Snooker World Championships website.
Which, let's explain, snooker is just like billiards, but for like gambling addicts.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, do you not have the time to play like a full game of pool? Like, I think it's only like 6 balls instead of like the full rack, and it's like speed run. So it's like for gambling addicts. It's like a faster version of pool.
And if you're playing pool and kids are involved, that should be a harmless, fun thing, right? That shouldn't be the gateway into one of the darkest rabbit holes you can find on the
Okay, how
internet.
about this? Any experience with children shouldn't be a gateway into that. I like the hyper specific. I mean, I know what you're saying, but also none of them should be gateways for that.
Yeah, if you say, hey, I should do a little research on this Christian camp, you shouldn't be heartbroken by what comes up on the first page of Google. Same with every single, like, orphanage. So everything shouldn't be, like, a very dark story.
You should be able to trust your wealth advisor, Jeffrey Epstein. In an ideal world, there's none of these people.
Man, so the reason that I got into the snooker thing and, like, got lit onto it in the first place is the guy that lit himself on fire outside of Trump's court hearing the other day posted about it on his Substack last year, and I'm a follower. So, if you browse the website of the World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association, you may come across their page on child protection policy.
Let's give a shout out to that self-immolator, by the way.
The self-immolator. So at the time online, he was M. Crosby. Now we know his name as Maxwell Azzarello.
So shout out Maxwell Azzarello. A good
true crank.
Italian.
A true fucking weirdo. There are a lot of sickos out there that spend their days researching the dark parts of the internet, and they just go about their day. And then there are those that let it consume them and let the darkness take them from inside out until where they have to do something drastic.
You're suddenly estranged from your wife.
You're suddenly estranged from your wife and friends. You find yourselves talking about a revolution that only you're involved in.
You're mowing the lawn to Red Wine Supernova.
Listening to it dozens of times in a row, wondering how this sick, sick world can keep breathing on past the death throes that are late-stage capitalism. Max, we salute you. Thank you for your service. Sad story that you lit yourself on fire, man. I think that guy, Aaron Busher, that lit himself on fire for Palestine.
This is so 2024, by the way.
Yeah.
Was self-immolating.
Self-immolating is huge right now.
Didn't even know the word emulating before this. I didn't.
Wow. I've talked to a lot of people that said exactly that. They said, I didn't know the word immolating until Aaron Bushel did it. And I go, wow, really?
He really put it
We're
on
on different parts of the internet.
He really put emulating on the map.
He did. He did. And he had it. He was like, hey, I'm in service to the U.S. Air Force. I can't do what we're doing out there. Our military is a criminal organization. I'm setting myself on fire. This guy was like, hey, I think the Simpsons have been trying to send me messages about the Clinton organization. I'm going to set myself on fire. So a little different, right?
Both not wrong.
No, both not wrong. Same spirit. Same spirit. And you know what? I'll be honest. I do respect each equally. I'll be 100% honest. I think they're both fucking just passionate people that, my personal opinion, a little lost and misguided. I don't think setting yourself on fire is the answer, but I can't tell you a better way to live your life, especially
You
now,
hear that,
buddy.
you dumb Buddhist monks?
Yeah.
You idiots.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Well, the Tibetan monks set themselves on fire so they could keep their slaves. They said, we like our feudal lord that's a godchild to us. We want to continue to have our slaves. We'll set ourselves on fire.
They did it so the
Crazy.
Dalai Lama could snack on a kid at a snooker
Yeah,
test
for real.
festival.
Dalai Lama is definitely a 92%er, by the way.
Yo.
Zero doubt about that. So the reason that their child protection policies are so weird is they have a 36-page document that's a PDF called Appendix 2.
And this is the World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association. We're talking about their child protection policies as an organization.
We'll put a link to it in the notes or whatever, because you all 36 pages are worded weirdly.
I guess every sports association league has a child protection policy. It's
Yeah.
not weird for them to have one.
Oh, no, not
I
at
just
all.
have never looked into
Do you know
it.
what every single one says, though?
What?
Go to the police.
Yeah,
Do
so
you know
true.
what theirs says?
Yeah.
Go to the World Snooker Child Protection Officer. Not the police. Not the police. Not the police. That's what they say. They say, hey, if a kid is telling you that they're being abused, keep it in the family. That is insane. So this guy, Max Azzarillo, whatever his name is, Max. We'll just call him Max.
Azzarillo.
We're casual now. He's our bro. We talked about setting ourselves. By the way, this is Appendix 2. Where is Appendix 1? All right, that's my little fucking tinfoil hat for it. But so he goes on.
It's out there. We just don't have it saved.
If you've read like in the Boy Scouts, I was in the Boy Scouts, and there's a pamphlet on the child protection services or whatever you should do. It clearly states go to adults outside the organization, go to multiple adults to get it to the police, right? There needs to be an investigative body that takes a look at this. Otherwise, you're at risk of kids being fucking abused, right? So his claim here, and if you read the whole thing, it's weird. his claim, which maybe you're on board with, maybe you're not, is that it's set up. Here, we'll just read directly from Max.
So this is Max's claim, looking into the Snooker Association's child protection policy.
This document includes pages and discussions around photographs, noting that photos of children can help provide personal information that can be used for grooming them for abuse, and that some people take inappropriate photos of children in vulnerable positions at snooker events. Section 7 notes that disabled children are often easily manipulated and may not even recognize inappropriate behavior. So, as you may gather, this document is not about snooker and was not written to promote child safety. Rather, it appears to be an instruction manual on how to blackmail someone by gathering evidence that they abused a child. So, I think that is a little bit of a lofty claim without context. What this guy is kind of getting at is there is, and Sam, Jimmy, I think you guys are at least mostly on board on this. Epstein and his blackmail pedophile ring wasn't an isolated incident. It wasn't a drop in the bucket. It is one of the things that's a mechanism behind every single industry in the world. I think that saying that, hey, this one honeypot in Miami is just an isolated incident is a genuinely ignorant way to look at it. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of Epsteins in every single city. Sam, you've read the Franklin Scandal book.
So I push back. I don't know if it's in every industry and every facet of society, right? I mean,
I'm in the roofers. I'm the fucking pedophile guy for all roofers in the U.S.
Right? Yeah. I don't know if like Office Max, or like Home Depot. I don't know if they have the same problem, but like I think that Epstein wasn't just one child trafficking guy on planet Earth. I think there's multiple. I think there's regional Epsteins. And to what you just said, the Franklin scandal, which is a famous story that an author, journalist Nick Bryant, uncovered, where Larry King Jr., with the guy's name, no relation to Larry King Live,
Who ran a credit union in Omaha.
Correct. He was running a federal credit union in Omaha and was trafficking children in the Midwest regionally.
But the people
So
that
there
were
are
connected on
regional
that
Epsteins. Go ahead.
are nationally and internationally recognized people. We're talking about the Bushes, the Bush family. They were involved in the Franklin scandal.
They're correct.
On top of that, you think about people like Weinstein. You think about people that are also related to Epstein on the facet of tech, right? When Ellen Pao took over Reddit, she very famously said, everyone that was involved knew that people like Ghislaine were trafficking children, and we hated to see them involved in our early funding. Okay, so at least in the tech world, which Ghislaine's sister is involved in and owns tech companies in Silicon Valley, they knew that there was a pedophile ring that operated right behind the scenes. All right, got it. Then the Weinstein stuff. And you look at the connection between the Epsteins and the Weinsteins, you go, okay, so we know at least Hollywood, we know at least tech companies, and then to move that a little further, we know that the Clinton administration and the Clinton Foundation out of Haiti has pardoned multiple people that were trafficking children from Haiti. So we go, okay, the political world from the Bushes to the Clintons, the entertainment world from the celebrities on the outskirts of the Epstein Society and the Weinstein Society and all those people that were involved in sex crimes there, the tech world, everyone involved in Silicon Valley and the biggest sites in the world like Reddit and Facebook. Maybe not Office Max, but at least the important industries have perverts and music. P. Diddy.
P. Diddy, yeah.
P. Diddy and his producer that's also involved in multiple claims about blackmail and
R. Kelly too.
R. Kelly. And R. Kelly, we know now that, okay, he had, essentially like a makeshift prison that he kept a stable of women in. That's the stuff that came out in the late 2000s. People have been talking about, you've seen that video from R. Kelly in Ethiopia singing, "Do you have your passport? Do you have your shots? Do you want to come to America?" He's advertising trafficking women to America. You guys seen that video?
Yeah.
Do you have your passport? Have you got your shots? Do you want to come to America? Like, okay, that is a commercial at a stadium for trafficking. You talk about the Super Bowl. Anyone that's been involved in human trafficking organizations will tell you that the Super Bowl is the largest human trafficking event in the world. Same with races like F1.
Damn.
Like these facets and
Not my
apparatuses
cars.
within society aren't at their core pedophile rings. Pedophiles are coming in and taking over these businesses, or however you want to call it, and using that as a cover to traffic people.
It was all there. They had Usher performing at the halftime show this year. It's all there.
It's all there. It's all there, man. But Max thinks that everything's related to the Clintons and all that stuff. Maybe. You guys don't think that there's a giant pedophile ring running this nation?
I mean, let's go back to the fact that the Super Bowl is the biggest trafficking event.
That's what like Christian organizations, like you remember that movie, Save the Children mass movie, that weird Mormon organization?
No, but
It's like they've also probably, are just like laundering money. But like things like Agape Ministries is the one that I knew about when I was younger, where like their program is they go and they buy brothels and then they give counseling to the women that they bought from these brothels in South
they
America.
go, this is how you sell your asshole better. You're doing it all wrong.
Good on Fansly.
Yeah, get on. Yeah, you got to have a link tree, okay?
It's funny that people think that the Tate Bros didn't do anything bad, but what you just described is exactly what the Tate Bros did. Is they'd go and find prostitutes and say, "Hey, we just got to make this online. You work for us now."
You're
Crazy.
right. They did. The Tate brothers honestly did nothing wrong.
I'm a Tate truther.
Yeah.
It's called business. It's not illegal.
Look. All I'm trying to do is shed light on the snooker league and honestly advocate for the Tates.
And what we can say about the Snooker League is maybe that is just a poorly written document. And maybe that's an isolated event that got broadcast on TV where that guy was being a pervert. And maybe the reason that they have a child protection officer inside the organization instead of going to the police is because they are extra good at hunting pedophiles. But I will go out on a limb and say probably not.
If you are a group and your first thing is like, hey, you know of a child who's being abused and you don't go to the authorities, you fucked up. Mm-hmm. Immediately you fucked up.
Yeah.
That's like, it's like one of those where it's like you see a child getting abused. Do you, one, get the child away from the abuser and take him to the cops, or B, anything else? The thing should be back to the original one.
Yeah. Did you hear about what happened in Texas with pedophiles now?
What's that?
I overheard this. My girl was listening to a podcast about it in the other room. But basically, that Texas is the only state in the country that still forces castration on multiple offending or like pedophiles that have offended multiple times.
Ooh, is that true?
I did not know that.
I don't think that's real. If that's real, that's tight.
That's crazy if it is.
Pull up the doc one
That's
more
so
time.
There's a
Scroll
bunch
down.
of a bunch of
chemical
states.
castration?
No, physical castration.
Oh.
Scroll down in this. This is where it gets really weird.
Okay.
So, speaking of which, like, what should you do? You should go to the police. Scroll all the way down until you see a flow chart, because they make an actual flow chart of what you should do.
That's what I was describing was the flow charts.
Yeah, you've seen the flow chart in this?
No, I haven't. I was just describing what a flow chart has to look like if you're not telling people to go to the police.
It should only say go to the police, right?
Yeah.
That's the only way the flow chart should flow is towards the fucking police. Their flow chart doesn't fucking flow like that.
It flows into a kid's ear.
It flows into the bed of Jimmy Savile and his fucking harem of 12-year-olds.
God.
92%er.
Sorry,
There's 36 pages of this, and yes, I read all of it.
How did you find Maxwell?
He posts in subreddits that I like, conspiracy subreddits. Okay, this is the flow chart. A child informs you directly of their concerns. Stay calm. If the young person is present, reassure them they are not to blame. Don't make premise of confidentiality to outcome. I think it means promise. Keep questions to a minimum. Do not contact parents at this stage. Is the concern poor practice? Yes. Okay, then you contact the World Snooker. Could it also be child abuse? Yes. So scroll down. If they're in need of medical contention, then take them to the doctor. But everything else just leads to WSCPO, which is World Snooker Child Protection Organization.
Yeah, it just leads to, like, not the police.
No.
You have to go through, eventually it says on the bottom right, refer to police and social services. You have to go through 9 things
That's
to get
if they're
to...
already at the hospital and it has abuse known to the organization.
Instead, the original one was just like, it should just be go to the cops.
Go to the police. It goes down a little bit further, too, because they have their own eternal disciplinary hearing that you can appeal. So if a kid says that I abused them, I'm going to go to an internal disciplinary hearing that I can then appeal. And then they're going to monitor and evaluate my actions with the child. insane. If you touch a kid, go to prison.
See, that's why I'm okay with the Texas law, dude. Cut their balls
yeah, they should
off.
fucking kill him. I hate to sound like a fucking sicko, but it's like, I don't know, dude. Kill pedophiles. Is that insane?
No.
Are we at a point in society where we think that we need to like rehab pedophiles, or are we cool with being like, no, death sentence, fucking back against the wall?
I mean, if
shit?
you want to, so this is what the law is. It says, Texas is one of several states that offers imprisoned sexual offenders the opportunity to be surgically castrated, and this extraordinary measure allows eligible offenders to be released on early parole. And I'm okay with that. If you want to cut your balls off, you can get out.
Do you still get horny though?
No.
Do you promise? They're making the pedophile promise they're not horny anymore. I'll be straight with you though, dude. I'm pretty sure pedophilia is more about like power and the psychology than the actual like sexual gratification of it. Because I don't think I was a very sexy kid, but my ass got molested. I don't think I was a particular like hot, slutty little boy, but my ass had it coming, dude.
You're like, and I wasn't just like snooker hot. I was like basketball, baseball hot.
They wouldn't
like
let me in
cooler
the snooker,
sport.
dude. They wouldn't let me in the snooker. They said, no, we got the fucking A's here, buddy. This is worldwide shit, buddy.
Not to be so disgusting, but who would molest you? They know you couldn't keep a secret.
I'm gonna molest the chattiest boy in children's church. My goodness.
Yeah, the chattiest Kathy, or the one that's playing billiards alone in a room for 7 hours.
Yeah.
This one won't shut up. Now, I mean, I didn't know that they still physically with a knife castrate you. I thought it was just that's why I'm so blown away by that story. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, they chemically castrate people now so that we don't have to do that shit.
I hate to sound authoritarian, but I hate that it gives them the option. Because what pedophile is going to be like, yeah, take it? They're all going to be like, no, I'll do 5 more years in prison so I can get back to my passion. No, I think I'll keep my balls so I can get right back to quick work when I'm out of here.
But wait, that's what it's like either life in prison or cut your balls off. That's basically the option.
That's a
and
fair
a lot
deal.
of guys will start doing crimes in jail again, so it elongates their time. Because they don't want their balls cut off.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it. I don't care.
Yeah,
Man,
I mean,
dude.
I think that
pedophiles are the one group that like the whole world, for the most part, is on board with like we can do whatever we want.
I hate to give pushback here though. The problem is like what happened in the 80s is like real pedophiles were on TV molesting children, and people like Elton John were called pedophiles.
Yeah.
So while I agree with you, I just don't think we live in a society that we actually can kill pedophiles, because I think sickos will say, and do you know who else is pedophiles? People that teach my kids things I don't like.
That's
so it's like,
kind of why I was silent at first when you guys were like, we should round them up.
I agree in
It's
theory.
like,
and in a perfect
well,
world, we can just punish
Because
pedophiles.
people are going to catch strays who did nothing.
Did nothing wrong.
That's literally witch hunting at that point,
Yeah.
where it's like, if the woman drowns, we knew she wasn't a witch.
Yeah.
Well, the woman's
Yeah.
dead now.
I would love the heavy hand of justice to be righteous in its strike.
But that's why
accurate.
it's
You love her
only
to-
multiple of time offenders.
I see.
So
You're not gonna get fucking falsely convicted 3 times.
fool me once.
Actually, you know what? If you play the game of snooker, you're a pedophile.
Yeah, straight up,
Who
dude.
the fuck plays this
Straight
game?
fucking up. Anyone that reads this flowchart and goes, "This makes sense," I'm like, okay.
I had to Google what snooker is for this episode.
How can we see
The
how long the
fuck is this
flowchart goes
shit?
down for? We scroll down a little bit more after monitoring and evaluation. I think it goes 2 pages. Okay, no, that's it.
Nah.
That's it. There's just a
No,
lot
it's
of
chill. It's just 1 page.
It's just a lot of reporting procedures, and this guy, he kind of relates it to something that happens at Stanford. Because a lot of companies that we know either were scams or were involved in something called the Highland Capital Partners, they started at Stanford, and something that happens at these financial classes at Stanford is they ask a very common hypothetical question. And,
Which is if a child comes to you saying they've been abused, what do you do? And they
Are
say,
you gonna be cool about it or not?
are you cool? So they ask, if someone is stealing money from a bank, would you A, B, or C? And the C option there is essentially like, you know it's going to be profitable for you and your business, so you cover it up. And it's an ethics question. And this guy says that to me reads less like an ethics question and more like a litmus test to see if you're going to be involved with cover-ups, Ponzi schemes, and blackmail. So I think that is another thing that just goes out on conjecture. It has more to do with this guy's mental illness than it does with the research that he's done. Because, I mean, this guy, Max, he did good research.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
So that your school is recruiting, like, Peter Thiel and his, like, fellow tech company men are looking for guys who would, A, go to the cops, B, not go to the cops, or C, turn a blind eye to make money themselves. And the school is helping those companies recruit.
To essentially like a funnel into people that they know are willing to be corrupt.
That's an interesting idea where it's like, hey, Peter Thiel, these are all the students that answered C.
Just like if you go to Georgetown and talk to anyone in Middle Eastern studies and say, hey, what do you think about the U.S. empire? And any of them that are like, I like it a lot. It's like, I know what your job's going to be when you're done with college,
Congratulations. Welcome to the Department of Homeland Security.
But wait, I thought Peter Thiel was the guy that famously hated college.
Well, he's the guy who...
PayPal.
Yes and no.
He
Peter
like
Thiel's-
tells people, don't go to college. I hate college. It's
Oh,
a
he'll
scam.
buy college out of you, right? He'll pay you not to go to
Yeah.
college so you can do that. I think that's a part of it, sure.
I mean, that's part of it, but also...
Well, just if that is, I mean, I'd be surprised to hear he's working with Stanford.
He's also a homophobic guy who's openly gay.
Yeah, he's
a
a dynamic guy.
He, you know...
I don't know too much about Peter Thiel. I know about some
I mean,
of his money and some of the...
multiple episodes on
I
Peter
liked
Thiel.
what he did to Gawker.
What? You liked that he shut down free speech? You liked that he worked with Hulk Hogan to take
Yeah.
away a news outlet?
Yeah. Because I think that
No.
was fucked up. I don't think Gawker should be posting sex tapes of Hulk Hogan for no reason.
And while I think I agree with you for the most part, at the same time, I don't want any institution to be shut down because they don't have enough money.
They castrated Gawker.
They did.
They said you can go life in prison, or if you stop fucking posting Hulk Hogan's videos, we'll chop your balls off.
Well, essentially what they did is they didn't even say... I mean, they buried him in lawsuits. They had endless money.
How is that like free speech to be posting some dude's sex tape? He didn't
I think
put it
that
out.
action in particular was off base, and I you know, without being able to recall too many details, my gut reaction is to say they probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly, what you
Well,
said,
just like-
they posted a video, like a home video that got leaked to them of Hulk Hogan having sex.
mean,
Essentially
But
revenge porn.
The story that I heard was Gawker they outed Peter Thiel, and then he tried to get back at them. He couldn't. So then they fucked over Hulk Hogan by posting his sex tape. Peter Thiel saw an opportunity and is like, "Fuck Gawker."
I'm gonna
and they
fund-
buried him.
yeah.
And then it ended. So it's like, yeah, I agree. I don't think that either one of those things are newsworthy. I think that's like sensationalist bullshit that's gonna just be worse off for society. Posting a sex tape from Hulk Hogan.
Which to be clear, this podcast, we are trying to do sensational bullshit
we
that'll
want
get
that.
people's
Yeah.
eyeballs.
If you
So,
have any
hey,
sex tapes of anyone, send them. We'll post them.
I've been telling people I kind of want to create a Gawker of comedy podcasts. So I don't know how you feel about
We're
that.
coming after Joke World.
I think surface level, I couldn't agree more. But I think the issue to me is more about the mechanisms that were at play. The mechanisms that were at play is the issue I have. And I can think of another more extreme example of this. But for me, knowing that I can make a mistake, like, you know, posting a sex tape that definitely shouldn't have happened. And then just because someone has more money than me, they can take away my publication and completely, you know, one team of people posted a video they shouldn't have. That was still a news site, and it was still a newspaper. And I think, you know, if we lived in a more just and fair society, there would be people that paid for the response that paid for the consequences of doing that misstep of posting personal information like that, and not an institution that is a news institution. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess, but it's like they're no longer allowed to be journalists. They all just got a job at a different company with a different stupid fucking name, whether it be the Washington Post or something else. It's just Gawker now is no longer a thing. I don't know. I'm like,
it's more that action can happen, and it you know, it didn't
But that
happen
action-
to the New York Times, but it could.
that action happens all the time. Look at Alex Jones. He got
Yeah.
completely deplatformed. But if we're talking about like deplatforming, I think that there's a different conversation than what happened with Gawker.
I think so too, but I mean, even though Alex Jones was saying some like stupid and harmful and crazy shit, I don't think he should have to pay. I think free speech is free speech, and if
agree.
you think that Sandy Hook didn't happen, you should be allowed to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's such a crazy thing to pay the price for. I think Alex Jones should have paid the price for a lot of other fucking shit he's done. That is not what he should have paid the price for.
Well, you never ever You never ever get punished for the thing you should get punished for.
Yeah.
You get punished for one slip up that they can punish you for.
Yeah.
That's the
OJ
reason
stealing
why-
his trophies.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Oh,
OJ
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Or the other famous example would be like catching Gotti on tax evasion.
Uh-huh.
You know, you catch the mobster on tax evasion, not on being a mobster.
Calling Max Azzarillo crazy for setting himself on fire and not for writing a manifesto that has everything to do with The Simpsons predicting the future.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time I got pulled over by a cop in Jersey, I would try to get out of it, and he'd be like, "Listen, I know you've done it 100 fucking times. This is just the one time you got caught." And, you know, they would never let you out of any tickets in Jersey.
That's funny.
Hard on crime.
I guess so.
I'm the Italian, baby. I don't put up with any crime,
I'm
baby.
the Italian stallion.
The Italian
I'll get these
fucking-
tickets wiped away. My brother's a freaking cop.
But to say that Peter Thiel and the organizations that are involved in these universities
I'm
are
a Down
creating...
syndrome cop, but I keep harassing black people, but they won't fire me because I got Down syndrome. I keep Rodney Kinging guys. I keep Rodney Kinging men, but they just don't fire me. They say we love you, Italian stallion.
16 complaints against me. Poison.
The city of Newark is having to pay millions of dollars to families.
Man.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I had to be
Oh.
silly.
Not a fucking crime, dude.
I had to create a division where a Down syndrome man you knew was getting sued on the city of New Jersey.
On what you said, I don't think that it's fucking a tinfoil hat, wild fucking insane thing to think Peter Thiel or his associates are using these ethic classes and ethic questions in these financial classes in order to litmus test people that they know will commit fraud with them.
Sure.
But to make that as heavy of a claim as if it's a fact is a part of what lets you know this guy's a little crazy, right? Mm-hmm. This is like the third paper that he came out with. And after this one, after the one where he starts talking about, you know, how this is a direct funnel and he has proof of it, that's when I go, oh, this guy's starting to get a little crazy.
Well, I mean, no one bats 1,000.
No one bats, exactly.
So you're trying to
I
just...
didn't unfollow.
No. You look, whenever you see someone, and at some point, this isn't like, this just becomes conjecture. Because you do start with proof. Mm-hmm. This guy was snacking on a kid's ear. Mm-hmm. You do look at the Snooker Association's public policy on how to handle pedophilia, and it doesn't tell them to go to the cops.
No.
You start to look at all these other things, but then that's all you have. So then you have to theorize.
Yeah. And I think, you know, when you know that you're theorizing, it's good. Like, you've read the book Chaos before, right?
No, but I know.
It's a lot of theorizing,
yeah.
but every time that he theorizes or pulls out conjecture that isn't direct fact, it's very aware. He says, and these are the three ideas that I think could be possible based on all this evidence.
It's when you state things that are theories as fact.
That's what this guy does, and he starts to do it in this third drop. And I mean, I still followed along because a lot of what he's saying aligns with the way I already view the world. I already think that there's a conspiracy for sickos to run everything.
Yeah.
I already think that money buys out every single institution that could be pure. I think, you know, I don't think that we live in a fair and just society. I think sickos run shit. So, like, when I read this and I go, yeah, this makes sense. When he starts to go and starts comparing everything to The Simpsons, that's when it starts to get weird.
Flip to part 5 if you can. Mm-hmm. This is where we're gonna. The title of it all says exactly what you were saying. Which the title of part 5 is "A Guy You Hate Starts to Look Like a Criminal." Mm-hmm. You are trying to find a theorist who already aligns with your worldview.
Yeah.
This is, by the way, just like lib QAnon, where you are looking for pedophiles because everybody hates pedophiles, mm-hmm. and you happen to say that the guy you don't like is a pedophile because you already don't like that guy.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I mean...
But I mean, at the same time, you're talking about it as if it's moving backwards there. The things we know first, that these people are confirmed pedophiles. Like, it's not like, I don't like this guy, and so he's a pedophile. It's like, okay, Jimmy Savile, Epstein, Clinton, like, the Prince Andrew. The only reason I know who these people are is because they're pedophiles. So it's not like I'm working backwards and saying, hey, I hate Prince Andrew. What can I call him because I hate him? I go, hey, we know Prince Andrew's a pedophile. What else does that mean? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, like, while I think that the title of that is very true, A Guy You Hate Seems Like a Criminal, and, you know, if you're a hammer, everything seems like a nail, right? But we already know that they're pedophiles. It's working backwards from there, not working to that claim.
Fair enough.
His comment on Epstein in the 5th one is interesting. The one that you just had up with the part 5. That one right there. So he talks about Epstein as a decade-long network of Ponzi schemes with Jeffrey Epstein's blackmail network holding it all together. How did Epstein get the job at the Dalton School?
I mean, it was Les Wexner, I believe, got him. No,
Yep.
how did he get the job at the school? I'm not sure.
So we know that he worked
I don't
with
remember
that
anymore.
guy. Oh my God. His son is a defense attorney, and he was a defense attorney, and he wrote a bunch of books about a sci-fi pervert novel where they all live on the moon and have children sex slaves. Anyways, there's things like that where it's like,
I don't know what you're referencing.
dude, it's nuts, dude. Oh my gosh. If you look into the Dalton School that Jeffrey Epstein worked at, the characters that worked there with him and the children that still run society today of those characters, like, from my perspective, what he's saying about Peter Thiel having a funnel down to litmus test these people, we know that was happening at Dalton School because it's, a springboard for perverts to get involved into money for some reason. Jeffrey Epstein didn't go to fucking college and he's teaching physics at a private school. Okay, buddy. His reputation there was that he was a slutty, weird teacher that hit on girls. Okay, buddy. Now you're working at a fucking, a banking institution with no banking background. Okay, buddy.
Yeah,
so
you're literally being financed. You're running an investment hedge fund that's being financed by Deutsche Bank.
Yeah.
Which is not a minor bank. That's one of the biggest banks in the whole world.
Deutsche Bank. If you ever get a FedEx delivery to from Deutsche Bank, don't answer the door. You'll get domed in the head like every single judge in America has. Remember that when the Deutsche Bank assassin killed the judge that was involved with the first Epstein case? That was crazy, man.
Yeah, they killed a judge.
But so this guy's thesis all comes together in his post 5, which is where you really start to think, okay, maybe this guy's a little crazy. Maybe he's way too out there. But it's a timeline where he thinks that Klinkle, which was like a pre-PayPal app, was a springboard to FTX and Theranos, Bitcoins, and it kind of starts to crumble, where he has all this fantastic research of all the stuff that's in public, mixed with conjecture. I didn't stop following
This
him.
is not even at all what we were talking about earlier. That's fine. Just to fill in the audience what we're talking about, we need to explain how we got to cryptocurrency.
So
We skipped all of that because now we're talking about Silicon Valley Bank and FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried and Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes.
this guy's claim is that they're connected, essentially.
He's saying that Snooker is associated with dark tech money and all of these other companies.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
saying that there's that when I say that Klinkle is a springboard into FTX and Theranos,
Klinkle being a PayPal-style company.
that just got a bunch of funding before it even went public, and then it went under, and so where'd all that money go? And his claims, it's a giant Ponzi scheme. And my very reasonable response is, no, that's just how fucking money works these days, man.
You invest in a company, you think it'll make you money, and it's gone.
And the money doesn't disappear. It gets funneled over to other people that already wanted and had the money. Like, I get that money stays in money. Like, I'm not...
So Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX, which was a crypto exchange company, like the idea of FTX was like, you have 3 Litecoin, I have 1 Ethereum. We could argue and say that 3 Litecoin are worth 1 Ethereum, and we would trade our crypto. That's the simplest version of what FTX was. It's an exchange for crypto. You could also say, I have 1 Bitcoin. I think it's worth $21,000 USD. I could tell you it's worth $20,500, and we agree, and we exchange $20,500 for 1 Bitcoin. That's what FTX was. It actually, there's a lot of journalists who've found that it was a money laundering scheme to actually finance the Ukrainians to fight the Russians.
Yeah.
That's a whole episode in of itself.
Yeah. And it's not just that. There's other areas where they laundered money. Not just Ukraine was a huge part of it, absolutely. But it's like, if you look into Sam Bankman-Fried's family and all of the money that they put around locally to things like fucking Boys Town and shit like that, where it's like a lot of this money is shady.
So, I guess we don't really have to go into the weeds on this right now, because we're running out of time for this episode.
Yeah.
The main thing we need to just say is that, like, wherever there is a lot of money, there is a lot of bad actors who will use that money for bad things. And because Silicon Valley became a profitable place to make money, a lot of bad actors ran to it and said, I can invest money in these Silicon Valley companies and get a return from it and use that money for bad things.
Yeah.
So these companies became investments in ways to return money. And I can also use these companies as a way to launder my money into darker projects like financing wars, like possibly running a child or human trafficking ring. And this somehow, but I need to know, because what you're just saying is like, bad rich people do bad rich people things. Great,
Sure.
cool. Who cares which ones are doing it? The main connection is, how does this connect to the snooker? I don't understand how this connects to the
So,
snooker league.
It doesn't really, and that's kind of the sickest part of this guy's conspiracy. My opinion is it doesn't really. You could prove me wrong. He's done a lot of research connecting a lot of the money that is through shell accounts. That for me, I go, this isn't a fucking smoking barrel, but maybe I'm just not smart enough to read it all. His whole thing is exactly what Sam said. This is liberal QAnon. All of this comes back to the Clinton administration and the Clinton Foundation, all laundering money and setting up blackmail rings through Epstein. I just don't think it's that simple. I don't think that there's, one monolithic organization. I think it's more exactly what Sam said, where it comes down to it. Anywhere with money, power, and industry, perverts are going to join in where they can, stake their claim, and then ultimately try to cover up whatever fucking disgusting perverted thing they're going to do. The kind of thesis for all 30 of his drops that I read is that we have very obvious perversions in this society. There's very obvious, rings of pedophiles and human trafficking networks and crimes against humanity. His thing is he thinks they're all connected through one linear string of investments, starting from Peter Thiel all the way up to the bank run of the Silicon Valley Bank that was a part of what outed the Bankman-Fried scandal in the first place. I don't know about all that. I think maybe, probably not. Maybe it is. Prove me wrong. Do the research yourself. I think this guy was just mentally fucking ill and got lit up on a couple things. And I know that because his final post, I got emailed to me, and it said, I have just lit myself on fire outside of Trump's hearing.
Yeah, that
blew me away. I was
That's
like,
not
wait,
a
this
mentally
guy I follow
sound
online.
guy.
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad that we just championed everything he said for the last hour.
No, I mean, here's the thing. I don't
I'm giving
champion
him
what
a
he
hard-
says.
I'm giving
I
him a-
respect the guy for being crazy in the same way I'm crazy. I'm not that fucking crazy,
Yeah. That is actually the goal, guys. If you guys subscribe, if we get enough followers, JT and I will self-immolate outside of the comedy mothership.
And
We'll say, Joe, look at us, and set ourselves on fire.
so when you go to this guy's self-immolation event on Wikipedia,
Oh, God.
he only has a mini page on Wikipedia, but there is a pretty cool his background. So, he graduated from UNC in Chapel Hill. He worked as operations for director for a Nassau County executive, a Democrat.
Long Island,
Oh, okay.
Nassau County.
Nassau County. I've actually telemarketed there before. But he was arrested because he threw a glass of wine at former U.S. President Bill Clinton's autograph displayed in the lobby of the Casa Monica Hotel in St. Augustine, Florida, and damaged it. My man, you were a pure of heart sicko, a true internet crank, a weirdo, a tinfoil hat wearing, perverted minded sicko in the sense to where you will never let Steph go. You let that 36-page child protection order on the Snooker website make you go, fuck, I'm gonna ruin my life to the point where I set myself on fire researching this. Hats off to you.
So really what it was he just was really into snooker, found that they cover up pedophilia inside the snooker league, and then just started following pedophilia and money laundering in Silicon Valley and connected it to President Clinton?
Yeah, Rita Simpson's...
Okay, thank you. This is I can't just let this episode die without really understanding what happened here.
And frankly,
Okay.
that's only the tip of the iceberg. Read all 36 of his blogs. If you have 3 to 4 hours, you can get through his entire Substack from the day he posted his snooker evidence to the day that he set himself on fire. He's a guy that's smarter than me, but definitely a little less well. I kind of like him.
Jimmy, what do you think about all this?
I don't know. I guess I find it interesting. I have to do a little bit more research into snooker.
I mean, yeah, I just wanted to see like why did he say that he set himself on fire outside of Trump's trial? What does that have to do with the Clintons?
He said that he was starting a revolution. He said this is a revolutionary act. He said he believes that the Clintons and Trump, as well as Biden and Obama, are working together to fascist coup the United States. And I would say, not directly. I would say it's more of like, those in power. I don't know if you guys think we live in a kleptocracy or plutocracy or an oligarchy or whatever you guys want to believe this world is. For me, I think those in power are those with the most money, and those with the most money are calling the shots. And I think this guy agrees. He just has a lot more lore behind it, if you will. He has a lot more lore behind it. But read his 3,000-word manifesto, and I think a lot of people like me saw it a week or so before he set himself on fire, and we all just thought he was being kind of ironic, comparing The Simpsons to modern news as a way of just like painting a picture of how corrupt things are. Nope, he meant it. He thought the Simpsons were a part of like the cabal or something like that, and essentially we're sending us messages on how the government's trying to fuck us over. Interesting guy.
Okay, well, I guess with all of that being said, Maxwell Azzarello, we do salute you, and we wish you the best. This has been the Bad News Podcast. I'm Sam Castillo.
I'm JT Kelley.
And I'm What's Up, Jimmy?
We hope you have the biggest house in heaven, Max.
And we'll see you next week on the internet. Bye.
Bye.